plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals. Do you have continuity or a succession plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
And he is currently the CEO of Hero School of Business and Governance. Mr. Mosaku-Johnson, we are very much delighted to have you on Corporate Governance Platform.
I'm very much pleased to be in this program today.
Okay, we want to discuss something that is very germane to corporate governance and of course to the success of any organization, yes, and that is succession planning. We want to look at the strategy towards succession planning. May I start this conversation by asking you, what really do we mean by the term succession planning?
Succession planning basically has to do with the process and strategies used to replace a particular set of workers and putting down some planning in place to ensure that there is no gap after a particular worker or a leader must have left a particular organization. It is used to identify talent and to develop talent and to put them in a place where they can replace the aging, retiring, or those that are actually dying in the course of the job. It's a very, very important tool, and it's a process that has to be in place for every set of organization in all its aspects and ramifications. It can be a small business, it can be a big business, it can be multinational. Whatever business that it is, there has to be in place a succession planning structure system so that there will be no gap when one set of people leaves. There will be other people to take on seamlessly. And that is the most important part of succession planning. And this has to do with very, very strong platform, structure, process in place, which is totally lacking now in every sector of the economy. It is lacking now.
Okay, succession planning is vital to success of organizations.
Very well.
And he said, irrespective of the size of the organization, succession planning strategy is important.
Very well.
Okay, before I ask my second question, let me give opportunities to our viewers to be part of the program. If you wish to be part of this program by asking questions or making comments, kindly do so by sending text message to 080-2323-1287. I take the number again, 080-2323-1287. We are discussing succession planning as a corporate governance strategy. You have elaborated much on the meaning of succession planning. But what then is the relevance of succession planning to corporate governance?
Yes, corporate governance has to do with a system of rules and principles by which organizations are directed and controlled. So if that should be the case, it concerns corporate governance to ensure that organizations are not only directed in the lifetime of the leader, in the time that somebody is working, it also has so much to do with continuity, with sustainability of that business. So basically, corporate governance has to do with a set of rules, guidelines, and principles that ensures that there is continuity in a particular business. And it also has to do with the way organizations are being governed, controlled, and directed. So it has so much to do with corporate, succession planning. And now look at it. Just recently I did a program for a Guild of Medical Directors. Okay. And those are the people that owns hospitals in Nigeria. And of course, they are bothered about the fact that after them, what next? After them, what happens? It happens that at the point I was in a particular place, we had a very large program, and the richest man in Nigeria was there. And I asked him a question. And I started by saying that success without successor is suicide. And I asked him, I said, after you, what happens to this conglomerate? And of course, he didn't answer. He said, his group MD will answer. Of course, the group MD answered and everybody clapped and so on, but I was not basically satisfied, because I know that there is danger ahead. And therefore, I know that there are a lot of things that needed to be done to ensure that after that man or after whoever, that business continue to exist, because we are talking about business that employs millions of people. So if anything happens to the owner of that business, so many people are in trouble already. So everything that has to do with that business, in fact, not only government, civil society, and everybody should take particular interest, especially for the continuity of that particular business and so many other businesses and so on. Okay,
you actually mentioned, you actually gave us a phrase,
yes,
that without a successor for a successful businessman,
yes,
then the business is running towards suicidal, right?
Yes, very well.
Okay, and that takes me to the issue of sustainability.
Yes.
Now, what then is the relationship between succession planning and sustainability?
Now, we have discovered that it is only 30% of businesses that actually goes to the third generation of the owner. I remember 2019, I was in Ghana. I was at the African Corporate Governance Network Forum. And after I did my presentation, a lady accosted me. She said she's a Ghanaian, that our own organization in Ghana is over 100 years, and that she has been running the business. She's the fourth generation MD of that particular business.
Wow. And
for over 100 years, the business is going and so. But I looked at my country. Of course, the lady told me, the lady did say that that business, the progenitors of that particular business came from Nigeria. to start that business in Ghana, and it is over 100 years. But I looked around me in Nigeria, I discovered that the oldest company, indigenous company in Nigeria, was 66 years old at that particular time. That's about 67, 68 years old now. That's the oldest indigenous company in Nigeria. We don't have as it is today a company that is 100 years in Nigeria. So sustainability matters a lot. The oldest company in the world now, is in Japan, and it's about 1,430 years.
Wow.
Yes, that is the oldest company in the world, and it's still running. Out of the 10 oldest companies in the world, 4 of them are in Japan. I have their list. 4 of them are in Japan. They are still running. They are still, the business is still being, they're opening for business every day. But look at, I remember we are talking about businesses that are indigenous to Nigeria. You hardly see anyone that has outlived his owner. I can list a lot of businesses in Nigeria that, so to that extent, corporate governance is basically concerned. We are not bothered about the separability of the owner from the business. We are not bothered about it. In fact, I was speaking to lawyers and I said that perhaps the worst corporate in terms of separability of business from the owner are you that are seated in this court. If lawyers basically guilty of that particular issue, so what do we expect of others? When business continues, it goes to serve 3 things. 1, legacy is being built. 2, people will continue to enjoy their employment. 3, government will continue to get their taxes from. I can list a lot of businesses from MK Wabela business, Chanchagi businesses, Kennedy Lichuku. All these businesses are no more. Daddy Hospital Society, General Bank, Star Paper Mill, Jim Odutola business in the bank. I can list 50. They don't outlast the owner, and there is no tragedy that is more tragic than this.
Okay, you have actually listed a couple of companies in Nigeria, and you also talked about the indigenous company that lasted for a long time in Nigeria, lasted for about 60-something years.
Yes.
And you compared it to Japan.
Yes.
Okay, are you saying that lack of succession planning can jeopardize the lifespan of a business? You mentioned some, but I want you to put it in the right order.
Yes.
That is, when there is no succession planning, that means the business cannot survive.
Yes.
Can you justify that in the context of corporate governance?
Yes, I'm saying that in the context of corporate governance, what should happen in every businesses, in every organization, is the fact that there should be a corporate governance structure that has nothing to do with the owner. There has to be a constitution. In corporate governance parlance, we call it charter. There has to be a charter.
Okay.
There has to be a charter, and that will form the structure for the continuity of that business. And when the owner of the business begin to look at a particular person that can fit into that particular role that is going to live, he should try to develop that person. He should try to train that person, because if you don't train them, don't blame them. So there are 3 things that are very, very critical when he's trying to look at the person to succeed in. There are 3 things. 1, competence. Does the person have the competence? 2, character. Does the person have the required character for that business? And does the person have commitment for that particular business? Because this is very, very critical. If they don't have it, in fact, as a matter of fact, it may not even be his own son. It may not be his own daughter. It may be somebody that comes to work. It may be somebody that is an employee, and the man or the woman sees the kind of qualities that he needs in that particular person. And when he sees it like that, then he tries now to begin to build that person in order to take over from him. But it happens in most cases, all right, when the owner of the business wants to leave the business, he puts his son. He doesn't care, it does not matter to him if the son is interested in that business or not. Because if you are not interested, it cannot be interesting to you.
Of course.
He doesn't care if the boy or the girl is interested in the business or not. What matters to him is that it's a family business. I remember I was invited to speak to church leaders on the issue of this corporate governance and succession planning. And I was saying that no church belongs to anybody. No, there's no one person that owns a church, because many of them are saying that, okay, I'm the general overseer, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the pastor in charge, and so on. But basically, there is nothing like that. And I made them to understand that this church has a separated legal entity from you. It's not a family thing. It's not a family owned. It's not a family business. What you need to do is to form a charter, is to have a board over you. So whatever you want to do, so that the board also can review it. And that is why we talk about the precept and the principle of corporate governance, which is very, very key on checks and balance. Checks and balance. And I told them that, look, you cannot put everything and say it is your own, and so on. And that is why Montesquieu said in 1731, Montesquieu said that there shall be separation of power. He said, if the power are not separated, he said, the life will be shortish and brutish, and it will be survival of the fittest. I was telling the church leaders, I said, it will be survival of the fittest. I said, when you are living, what you need to do is to look at somebody that can be able to take charge of that particular place and allow him to take charge of it. It's not about family. And I gave an example that day. I said there is a church called RCCG. Assuming that the man that founded it, assuming he handed it over to his wife or to his children, where would that church be today? I was making them to see that this church does not belong to anybody else. And the same way in business. Business owners should be made to know that they have a separated legal entity with the business. The business can continue to run while you continue to live. But if you are not living again, the business mustn't die because you are no more living. Most of the time, many of the business owners, they take the business to burial ground, which cannot help this nation. They cannot help anybody. Even they cannot even help themselves. So it is very, very important for us to see that there is the need for every business to have a sustainability plan, to have a structure of governance, so that there will be continuity after the business the business owner must have gone.
Okay, you talked a lot about the business owners and probably people in the top echelon of the organization.
Yes.
Is succession planning strategy limited to top positions in organizations alone?
As a matter of fact, succession planning should be in every part of the organization, should flow into every part of the organization, from one department to another department. Take for instance, HR department. If somebody is the head of HR department, he should be having a plan of succession in that particular department, so that when it's no more there, the department can continue to exist. Let me use insurance as an example. When you have underwriting department, you have fire department, you have accident department. When you have those departments, the leader, the HOD in that department should have a succession planning, so that when he retires or is no more there, another person can take over at that level. Now, it happens at that level, it happens at the management level also, and it happens at the board level, so that whoever that is going to go, another person has actually been incubated, so that there is no need to have a sort of a gap when somebody leaves. I was in Benin some years ago, and I got there to learn that I'm going to be training 70-year-old people. I say, why? Yes, I'm surprised. They say that, of course, they are contract staff. Contractors how? They say that, of course, they have retired and they bring them back because there is nobody to do their job. I said, this is not good for this country. What are they doing while they were in service? 35 years. They cannot incubate on anybody. They cannot make somebody to do what they can do. In fact, as a matter of fact, nobody is entitled to his benefits. What do you call that benefit? This pension and so on. Okay. You are not entitled to your pension until you have incubated on somebody, until what you can do, another person can do it. So this is very, very important. So it cut across every department, every strata of the organization.
Okay, somebody sent a text message, though the person didn't put his name. He said, is it a good succession planning strategy for a managing director to succeed the chairman of the organization?
Yes, very well. It's not a good strategy. The principle of the corporate governance does not basically support that. And one of the principles in the Nigerian corporate governance code basically says that there should be a time of cool off. Even if the MD will later become the chairman, he cannot immediately retires as MD and immediately becomes the chairman. It is not tenable in our corporate governance view. It is not tenable in the code. As a matter of fact, it can be non-executive director in other places and so on. It can be anything in other places. But for him to be the MD of this company, let me say, Wazobia PLC, and immediately he leaves as the MD, he now becomes the chairman. It is an aberration, and it is not basically supported by the code. So there is what we call cool-off period. And that cool-off period, the least he can do is that he will stay out for 3 years. Okay. Then later, he can come back to be the chairman. That is what the code itself specifies, and it is very, very clear in the code. They cannot immediately become the chairman, and so that is for the purpose of FAT purpose. FAT, I mean, when we talk about FAT in corporate governance, we are talking about fairness. Fairness, F for fairness, A for accountability, R for responsibility, and T for transparency. So this is very, very clear in the code, so you cannot assume it.
There should always be a cool-off period. Now, is succession planning also relevant in the public sector?
Yes, of course. As a matter of fact, the organization I told you about is a public sector organization that I got to Benin only for me to learn that they are old people and so on. So it is very, very critical. It is in the annals of mankind, and in any place that people are coming together to work. It can be private, it can be public. There has to be a plan. There has to be a succession planning template that will be followed in that particular order. And it happens also in government when you have people that retires and of course they are coming back. Is the only one that can handle the meteorology, is the only one that can handle the equipment, a particular equipment and so on. So this is not too good. What is best for everybody is that somebody is in a job, he trains other people, he incubates on other people, he makes other people not only to be like him but to be better than him, so that when he's going, other people can basically slip into his shoes and continue the work seamlessly without any let or hindrance. That is the most important thing.
So it's very relevant in the public sector.
Very, very, absolutely very relevant.
Okay, we have another text message from Ola from Egbeda. Ola is saying that there are public quoted companies in Nigeria that are over or close to 100 years old. He mentioned some brand Unilever, John Oates, Wema Bank, USC. The question is, what lessons can be drawn from those examples? Okay,
it's not saying that they are indigenous companies, isn't it?
You have to clarify that.
Yes, basically I'm saying that there are companies that have come to Nigeria from other countries, okay, and they are 100 years old. We have Royal Exchange is 1925, came to Nigeria in 1925. We have other companies. We have First Bank. Of course, we know First Bank is over 100 years. Yeah. Of course, Law Union and Rock came to Nigeria through Mobolaji Bankanton in 1951. And so though it has gone to sleep now, and so many other companies like that.
So what you're saying in essence is that these companies are successful because they are multinational companies that are operating in the country.
Yes, that is what we are saying, that some of these multinational companies, yes, some, not all, have some sort of structure that connotes succession planning, and that helps them for them to continue to run. And why that is possible is that, first of all, the staff in that place, they gain ownership of the concept, of the idea, of the vision of that place. When they gain ownership of the concept, they bought into the vision of that organization. And the next thing is that there is sustainability and there is structure in place. That is why they can continue. When there is structure in place, they can continue. But the problem is that most of the businesses in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria, because of our nature,
indigenous businesses,
they are built around the owner. Nothing can go out excepting that the owner knows about it. Nobody can sign any check.
Okay, Mr. OLUFEMIMOSAKU-JOHNSON. My time is running out, but yes, I just wanted to answer this question in less than 20 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, what advice do you have for companies generally on how to get their succession planning right? Yes, in less than 20 seconds.
The advice I have for the company is to ask themselves, who has the attitude in this place? who has the skill.
And perhaps they can't do it on their own.
Yes.
What advice?
Who has the knowledge. And the organization begin to bring up that particular person. And there is a need for other professionals to come in. Corporate governance professionals can come in to assist. Lawyers, accountants, they can come in to assist to ensure that a structure is good. And most of the charter secretaries, they understand how to build those structures. And they can come in to build structure of sustainability for organization that will outlast the owner, that will ensure that even when the owner is no more there, the business continue to exist.
And on that note, we wrap up on today's edition of Corporate Governance Platform. Thank you for being part of the show, Mr. OLUFEMIMOSAKU-JOHNSON.
Thank you very much,
we want to thank you for coming on the show and to share your views on this program.
Very well.
You have had it all from me. For people that sent us message, we want to say thank you. Please do join us again next week, same station, same time. I am signing off. Tunde Odeyemi being the host. My producer is Adeboye Galabiro and the technical director is Habib Adejobi. Keep spreading the gospel of corporate governance. See you next week. Bye for now.